Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55. This is our show. It's called Good Morning Football, and we are brought to you by CDW today. Thanks to them. We're live. It's Groundhog's Day. Peter Schrager, Nate Burleson, Kyle Brandt. My name is Kay Adams, and we've got the best reporters in the biz here with the Chiefs and the Bucs. So let's get right to it. And to Omar Ruiz in Kansas City. We've got Sarah Walsh coming to us from Tampa this morning. Omar, the Bucs have some serious talent on offense. As we know, a lot of depth. I've been talking about it a lot these past couple of weeks. What does the Honey Badger have to say about defending all of that?
Well, it's interesting because when you went to this matchup in Week 12, the Buccaneers had come in missing on 22 straight deep passes. Since then, Tom Brady leads the NFL in deep pass attempts, deep pass completions, yards, touchdowns. I asked Tyrann Mathieu what difference he's seen studying for that game Week 12 and then for this one in the Super Bowl, and he simply said greatness takes time. Those receivers, Tom Brady, they all had to take that time to form chemistry, and that's something that he's certainly seen is different this time around. They look much more comfortable with one another. He also said getting those two running backs going, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, adds to the play action game. That's something that the Chiefs will have to be mindful of. Also, heading into that game, they were particularly effective against Tom Brady in the blitz. So that's something to look out for. As we know, Steve Spagnuolo will have an aggressive package for that Buccaneers offense. For more now on those Bucs, let's send it down to Sarah Walsh.
Well, Omar, it is as synonymous with Bruce Arians as the Kangol on his head. No risk it, no biscuit. He has been saying it for years. And what it basically means is you don't take a great shot, you're not going to make a great shot. And you just alluded to it. At one point in this year, the deep passing game was completely non-existent. And Tom Brady and Arians were both asked repeatedly, why don't you just abandon it? Go to the short passing game. They refused to. They stuck with it. And you mentioned from week 13 on, nobody has been more effective at hitting deep balls than Brady and this Bucs offense. Byron Leftwich told us that no risk it, no biscuit means they're aggressive. They attack, attack, attack. This is a league that is all about scoring. Brady says he's embracing the no risk it, no biscuit, and it has certainly been working. If you go back to that Week 12 matchup where Mahomes and Brady met, since then, Mahomes has connected on just 4 deep balls. Tom Brady has done it 21 times. He said he loves this mentality here. And why does he love Arians' style? Because he says he coaches to win. It's easy to see how that would appeal to a guy going for his 7th Super Bowl title, Kay.
Yeah, Sarah, look, this is, it's no risk it, no biscuit. It's what they've been. Omar, Sarah, keep on doing what you're doing. You guys are doing excellent work. We'll get back to you in the next couple of segments. I want to bring in Ian Rappaport, though, because there is some news on the Kansas City front, and it involves, I don't know, a haircut? Ian, please enlighten the viewers on what is going on and why a barber is in the center of the story here Super Bowl week.
Yeah, if there's one thing we know this season is to expect some sort of COVID-19 issue to talk about before the game, and that is what we got yesterday when 2 Chiefs players, Daniel Kilgore, reserve center, and Marcus Robinson, one of their many receivers, both were placed on the COVID-19 reserve list. Neither of these guys have tested positive as of yet. It should not affect their game status at all. They were deemed high-risk close contacts, which means they were within closeness within area, essentially, of someone who had tested positive, close enough to where they are now being quarantined, pulled away from the team. They are eligible to play, probably going to be cleared if they keep testing negative on Saturday. As far as how they actually redeem high-risk close contact, the Chiefs brought in a barber. Everybody was wearing masks. This barber eventually tested positive. These were the only 2 guys who were cut by the same barber. So both these guys were now removed from the situation until they're going to end up cleared. No positives, no other fall from the situation yet, but obviously we will be keeping our eyes on this.
And they're already without their 2 tackles. Trouble in paradise as this team tries to run it back. Some adversity they're facing leading up to Sunday. Thanks so much, Ian. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you in a bit. How concerning is the Chiefs' offensive line right now? They're already down a couple of guys. Kyle, it's going to be tough, especially with what the Bucs got going on.
I think it's naive to say it's no big deal. I really do. I don't know if anybody's saying that, but sometimes when we come up with slights against the Chiefs' offense or anything that might stop Mahomes, it's looked at as reaching or needling. I don't think this is, because I know the image of what it looks like Tampa Bay winning this game, and it's Mahomes on his back. That Bucs pass rush is not just really good. They're really fast. And especially Jason Pierre-Paul. Those of us who follow the game know Jason Pierre-Paul, Peter said earlier in the show, he's never lost a playoff game. And we've seen him in Super Bowls do exactly what he needs to do in this one against offensive lines that weren't compromised. Brady knows that's his teammate right now. JPP is a maniac on these big stages. And you're talking now 2 tackles and a center. Like, yeah, that's a problem. That is not this dropped interception stat or the Chiefs don't beat people by enough. This is a real personnel problem. And yesterday on the show, if anybody wasn't watching, first of all, how dare you? But second of all, Kirk Cousins was on. Kirk Cousins is in his offseason. He's been for weeks. He played this team. He played the Bucs, and we asked this overly complicated question about what did you see when you looked on film? He said, look, their pass rush is crazy. Their pass rush is unbelievable. He basically said it's the best he's seen all year. And the Vikings weren't without their 2 tackles in their center. It's a strange game coming up with slights against the Chiefs because everyone thinks you're reaching. This is not a reach. This is right in our lap. This is a big deal, and it plays right into the Bucs' strengths.
Yeah, I hear you on that, Kyle. Last week I talked to JPP, and he said, I don't get the respect I deserve. And I'm like, wait a minute, JPP, now you're a beast. You've had a legendary career. You had a couple of bad accidents, and still you do your thing. I'm giving you your flowers right now where you can smell them. He said, no, Nate, no. And I'm going to go out there and prove it. He's motivated by something different, and I do feel like he's going to get after the quarterback. But with all that said, as much as I do respect the pass rush and even the DBs that make it difficult for quarterbacks to get the ball off, I just feel like Patrick Mahomes is different. He can get the ball off so fast. And that, for me, is why I don't think it's that concerning. Yeah, if he's going to drop back and try to deliver the ball with traditional quarterback play, 5 steps, deliver it, let it go, 7-step drop, of course they're going to get to him. But we just heard Tom Brady talk about him earlier in the show, and what did Tom say? Well, if I had one of his skill sets, it would be dropping back, backpedaling, 15 yards, and then flicking it with his wrist. So, if indeed that pass rush does get home, or does seep through, or does collapse the pocket, he can get rid of the ball quickly, or he can just buy himself a little bit of time and then get rid of the ball. The fact that Patrick Mahomes can let the ball go faster than a jugs machine, that just shows you right there that even if there's concern at the offensive line in front of him, he can still manipulate the defense without enough time in the pocket.
Nate, you're right. And look, due to the success of our show, which is a huge blessing for all of us, we get to do really cool things. Kay, last night on opening night, you were fantastic, and you got to interview both Mahomes and Brady. Nate, you also interviewed Tom Brady yesterday. Kyle, I'm watching your Twitter feed. You interviewed Brett Favre yesterday. And on behalf of NFL On Location, I got to interview Joe Montana last night. I had 30 minutes with Joe Montana, and it was a thing on Zoom, and everyone can watch and enjoy it. And Joe Montana was incredible in talking about something just like this. I asked him, you went up against those Giants defenses, those Bears defenses, even those Eagles, Reggie White ones. Were you ever scared? He's like, no, it was perspective. And it was what Bill Walsh taught us. Bill Walsh said, look around the room, gentlemen. Look at what we do. They have to adjust for us. And that is how I look at the Chiefs here. Yeah, they've got offensive line injuries. And yes, we're pulling out stories about the barber and maybe Daniel Kilgore won't go. But the Chiefs in their building, I know those guys, they're saying, they've got to adjust for us. They haven't lost a game since the first injury to Mitchell Schwartz. They haven't lost a game since Eric Fisher hurt his Achilles, obviously. And they've had injuries along the way. Remember, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, he decided to opt out this season. Mm-hmm. They haven't missed him at all on the offensive line because they've adjusted. And remember, Damian Williams, their star running back, he's not even on the team this year because he too opted out for COVID-19 reasons. I believe that this Chiefs team has a different perspective. They've got the Bill Walsh mentality. Yeah, talk about what we don't have. These defenses, they have to worry about us. It's all about perspective. And I know the Chiefs, they do respect that defensive line from Tampa Bay, but don't get it twisted. They know how good their offense is, and they know that Tampa Bay should be worried about them.
This Bucs front was super important in getting to Aaron Rodgers not once but twice. We saw what they did against the Saints in the playoffs as well. Kansas City Chiefs, a different story, Schrager is saying. Love it. At GMFB with your thoughts. Scott Pioli joining the program. George Kittle will stop by. Alabama quarterback Mac Jones is on the program. And then we got to talk about the weekend. Super Bowl halftime show. We are so excited. Grammy Award winner, absolute international phenomenon.